And today's sponsor is Reconciled. Reconcile invoices your clients, pays your bills, and delivers clear and accurate financial reports every month automatically. Ready to streamline your financials and prepare your business for the next big step? Visit reconcile.com today.
Hello and welcome to the How to Exit podcast, where we introduce you to a world of small to medium business acquisitions and mergers. We interview business owners, industry leaders, authors, mentors, and other influencers with the sole intent to share with you what it looks like to buy or sell a business. Let's get rolling.
And now a moment for our sponsors. I want to highly recommend you get Acquisition Aficionado magazine. Every month, Acquisition Aficionado magazine brings you tactics for business buying and selling you won't find anywhere else. Learn firsthand from industry leaders who share their success stories, featuring in-depth interviews and stories from leading figures in the business acquisition industry. This multi-platform mobile magazine speaks to acquisition entrepreneurs wherever they are in the journey. And I want you to visit acquisitionaficionado.com today. Hello and welcome to the How to Exit podcast. Today I'm here with David Bateman. He is a deal sourcing expert and been doing this for a little while now. I'm excited. It's a topic that's really dear to my heart, being a marketing and nerd and get events occasionally and finding off-market deals. I think we're going to have a blast today. Thank you for being on the show, David.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Cool. I always start off with the origin story. The ongoing joke is you were born and now you ended up on a show about mergers and acquisitions. Can you fill out the how you ended up on my show? So let's start with the origin story.
Oof, how early am I going back?
Well, you're young enough to be my damn son, so I can't go too far back.
That's fair enough. Yeah, so I'll start with college. I went to University, a small school in Philadelphia, and go the finance investment banking route. Planning, wasn't sure, but I was there. I was playing soccer. I was really there to play soccer. Wasn't a big school guy. Attendance was very poor. I would go onto websites to look up what professors didn't take attendance. Never a big school guy. Year, my soccer season ended in the fall, and that was about it for me. I said, soccer's done. I'm done. Dropped out with 4 or 5 classes left. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I went into entrepreneurship. We started a really cool business. My dad's an attorney. So he got with the first business. It was a recovery company where we used the Fair Credit Billing Act to help senior citizens who were scammed on timeshare fraud get their money back. That was an awesome business. Loved it. And it took us like 3-4 months to really take off. But once things started moving, they were fantastic. And we got that business to $30,000 to $60,000 a month in profit. It would vary based on the leads that were coming in, but the business model was fantastic. I had a business partner at the time who he had family in Italy, and his dad had an entire business plan written and all of the connections made to import wine from Italy and Australia.
Oh, cool.
So I took my top sales guy in the recovery business, made him a manager, and ended up flying to Italy to start negotiations with these vineyards. Had that business. I was stoked about it, but a 20-year-old naive entrepreneur that has never been beat up yet. So flew up to Italy, started negotiating with vineyards, struck all the deals that we wanted to, some of them with the deals in Australia. So we didn't actually go to Australia at that point. Flew back, and the wine importing business was on its way. But while we were flying back, I watched my bank account freeze and had no idea exactly what was going on. Come back to find the FBI knocking on my door because the salesperson that I put in to manage my team was embezzling money from me and my clients.
Oh, wow.
That business went from 0 to 100 back to 0 faster than I could blink my eyes. I have no college degree, so I'm back to square one after feeling like I was a cocky 20-year-old that was on top of the world. And now it's in there. Do not just throw complete trust into people that you hire off of Facebook. Lesson number 1 in business. From there, we started the wine importing business. We had some special licensing for the wine importing business where the liquor board's really tough in Pennsylvania. So we had some special licensing because one of the owners of the vineyards was in Pittsburgh, and it allowed him to have a vineyard license. Pretty cool. We were able to sell directly to restaurants.
Hmm.
Took a lot of door knocking in restaurants, a lot of wine tasting. It was really fun. I love that, in sales, especially with wine, was fantastic. And took us a little while, a lot of anxiety and stress with the other business, but we eventually got the wine business to doing $15,000 to $20,000 a month, which was fantastic. Again,
Hmm.
21 years old, 21 at that point, and I was stoked to be headed back in the right direction. That went well for about another year. COVID comes and shuts down every restaurant in the country or in the world, I guess.
Yeah.
And boom, took a lot longer to get to from 0 to 100, but back zero in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
So I got involved in real estate, met some really cool mentors in the investing space and in real estate sales. So was selling luxury properties in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and that money to buy my own investment portfolio. We had some transaction coordinators. So other than showing the properties, which usually happens after work and on the weekends, I wasn't doing any of the transaction paperwork. So I had all the time in the world, and I just wanted to do something new. So I was scrolling on Facebook one day and I saw an advertisement. It was one of those Cole Gordon advertisements that said, "Hey, do you want to make $20,000 a month working from, or $20,000, $200,000 a year from home?" And I was like, "Well, yes, I do. I'm probably
Yeah.
going to get scammed, but I'm going to click on this advertisement anyway." So I go through some interview process. They said, it was cost 6, 7 grand to do a sales course unless we were pre-qualified. Young, I was qualified as an appointment setter, not a salesperson.
Right.
Me, I got all the time in the world, looking to make more money, and especially in remote sales, hopefully I could get involved in something that could show me a new way that I can come from the situation. So I end up getting after green lighted to be an appointment setter. They said, wait 30 days. Let's see what happens. We'll find a good fit for you. We'll be up with me, and you'll have to go through an interview process with them internally.
Was that Dan Locke's program?
It was Cole Gordon.
Uh,
Cole Gordon. Is Dan like a similar
yeah,
remote?
he used to do a high ticket sales kind of thing where he'd bring you in and teach you how to sell high ticket stuff on via phone, and then he was placement in companies afterwards. And so I was just if that was that.
Yeah, Cole Gordon was the only one I knew at the time.
Hmm.
I ton of them out there now.
Right.
Incredible programs. They're showing people the entire sales process, and if you get approved as either a setter or a closer, access to this course that breaks down the psychology of sales. It's the in-depth, incredible program. So I ended up, for 24 hours. I thought I'd be waiting 2, 3 weeks. 24 hours later, they see an interview, and it's in business acquisitions. Now I know startups because I've
Hmm.
been beat up for a couple of years, but I didn't know anything about small business acquisitions. When I thought mergers and acquisitions, I thought Disney buys Marvel, some
Yeah.
mass blue chip company buying another massive or merging with another massive blue chip company. And then I knew a little bit about investment banking and private equity company for the of classes that I showed up to, but again, didn't know that it was available to the top investor, or or financing was a thing. So I get on this interview with owners of a company called Acquisitionpreneur, and the guy's name was Aaron Aegis, who's now I'm friends with. Aaron Aegis was doing over $100 million a year. I am like, how the heck did I get on this interview? And what is going on? I don't, he's about acquisitions. I have nineties to me. I have
Right.
no idea what any of it means, but I talk about my theory in entrepreneurship and sales, and we hit it off. Started working for him the next day at Acquisitionpreneur. In the appointment setting role, I'm just calling people in their CRM saying, "Hey, would love to see you again. Can we get you back on with one of our closers?" We had one closer at the time. It was me, and then the three owners of the business.
Hmm.
And 2 weeks after I signed up, they were doing a in-person event in Carlsbad. I said, "Listen, I have flight vouchers. Let me come out to the event. I'll get coffees. I'll help set up. I will come. I'll learn more about acquisitions. Sorry about acquisitions, and it'll help me with the setting and sales role that I'm in." So I booked that flight immediately. Showed up, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever. They had a ton of successful people that have already closed on acquisitions with either little to no money down, talking through each of their successful transactions, which to me was by far the most valuable thing in the world. People to this day ask me, if I want to get into mergers and acquisitions, what's the number one thing that I should do? My response is talk to people who have done it. I don't care who they are and how they've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Every transaction is so different, and you'll get pieces of each transaction that you want to use on your own, or some that make it
Right.
possible to work for. So I sat down there again. I was getting coffees for the owners and presenters, and people are talking about these deals. And we have an hour and a half for lunch, an hour and a half happy hour afterwards, and then people are hanging out at the resort. And Josh Wilson, who was talking about an 100% seller finance deal in non-emergency medical transportation. I don't think it was 100% seller finance. There might have been some hard money in there as well,
Mm-hmm.
but still no money out of pocket. And I sat down with him at lunch, and he was talking to how to write messages on BizBuySell and BizQuest. Then there was another guy that was younger than me, which made me hungry to follow this guy's footsteps, who did a consulting for equity contract, and he was making over 200 grand a year. Anything about marketing, but how hungry I was at that time to get back into entrepreneurship. I was trying to learn marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sat down with these guys throughout the entire weekend. I did that with the route that I had to take, because at that point, after losing both my businesses, I had a 600 credit score, maybe $7,000 to my name, no broker. I'm not passing any pre-qualifications for brokers. So I go back to my hotel room on the first night of that event, and I think I fired off 200 inquiries on Biz Buy Sell. Come back the next day, I got 30 responses from brokers who wants to sit down with me and work through these. And looking back at how ridiculous that was,
Right.
they still sat down with me and they were talking me through the buyer packet, saying this is from this business for this, and this
Mm-hmm.
looks like a good deal. You might want to ask this question. And then I learned the process of just filling out the NDAs and seeing what the business is all about, where it has strength and where it has weaknesses. And that was the most educational weekend of my life. From there, I went back, and at this point, I'm 3 weeks into my job, and Aaron Aegis is still, he's always giving me so much time and value in my search for acquisitions. Made it very clear to him that I wanted to buy my own business. I said, as a salesperson, how much better would I be at a salesperson if I'm also a testimonial and a success story? So I end up realizing very quickly nobody's gonna 100% seller finance me a deal at, I think I was 23 years old at that point. Nobody's gonna seller finance me a deal. I tried that for a couple months. I'm like, all right, Kyle Robbins was the guy who did a consulting deal, so let me learn that. He did it with marketing. I barely know anything about marketing. I run some Facebook ads for real,
Mm-hmm.
but that's it. uh, Aegis sat with me on Zoom for 2, 3 hours at a time. He's in Singapore, so it's 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. for me.
Mm-hmm.
But he was sitting with me, taking me through how to run marketing funnels for blue collar businesses. If they're cosmetic, they need to be on social media. If they're a necessity, they need to be search engine optimization. So he was coaching me through the entire thing. Then he told me to start calling blue collar businesses in my area and any areas that I was interested in, and find somebody who is doing well but doesn't have any marketing. Ideally, you don't even want them to have a website. And from there, I just hit the phones harder than I ever have in my life and struck a deal with somebody. He walked me through everything that they presented me. He said, this is how to go through it. He literally held my hand through everything. Forever grateful for everything that Aaron did for me. Helped me end up closing on 33% of a $1.2 million business, because I told them, hey, listen, I can help you with marketing. Give me 2 to 3 months. I'll work in your business for free. I'll build your website. I'll build your marketing funnels. Just look at the leads that come in and look at the growth. I'll help make relationships with subcontractors if we take on the work, if we don't have the capacity to do the work, but I'll help you scale your business. Give me 2 to 3 months. At the end of that 3 months, we'll sit down and we'll see if it's worth you giving me 33% equity in your business. I went lights out with Aaron's help for 2 to 3 months. After 2 months, actually, we had leads, solid quality leads coming in that this guy has ever seen, and they signed me over 33% of the business.
Oh,
From
wow.
Most ridiculous acquisition ever, looking back on it, but I had a ton of help, and Aaron is one of the top 4 marketers, I think, in the world, best friends with Neil Patel. It was a massive help for me. I was able to just take my ownership distributions. The ownership distributions grew from $15,000 a month to $30,000 a month, and I was just saving up. I had no expenses because I was young and did anything other than rent, and save all that money and start dumping it into acquisitions. We bought an electrical business within that company, a roofing and siding business. Started to go really well. So that's how I got involved in acquisitions in the first place. Just joining that group. That was my no money down creative financing deal, and that opened me up to a world of immediate cash flow if you know how to work your way around and talk seller.
So the two things I got out of that was, one, it is possible. A lot of people they try to dispel this myth of zero down, no money down. They're just crusading against it. It is possible. It takes a lot of work. Things I see that you did is you found a mentor, right? You found somebody that can hold your hand and walk you through it and make sure it gets done. And once you had the win, you basically lost what I refer to as the imposter syndrome, right? You were like, wait a second, I just did this, let's go do another one, right? You had hunger, and all this stuff. Most people don't pull the trigger because of the fear of, what if I don't succeed? And the question is always, what if you do, right?
Exactly.
When, right?
I knew, telling me, put you on a $3,000 to $5,000 a month retainer, and if they like what they see, then convert to equity and build your equity that way. I was so hungry. I was like, I've been working the same that I would be working if they signed me equity, just trying to find a deal. That's how many
Right.
hours I'm putting in. So at that point, I was like, listen, I'll work for free for a couple months. I know I have my mentor. I knew I had Aaron, holding my hand that was going to help me build out marketing, especially for somebody that's never had marketing. I knew I could, build a marketing funnel that they've never seen before that could really produce results just with Aaron's help. Again, I had a ton of imposter syndrome. So I had anxiety on these sellers.
Right.
I felt like I was BSing everybody. And again, I knew I did have Aaron in the back of my head. I'm like, I have help from people that are titans of industry when it comes to marketing. So you have to just put your head down. You have to do it. And imposter syndrome's okay. To feel you have, when it comes to the conversations, you got to believe in yourself. You have to be able to convince these people that you can value to them, because these businesses, a lot of them, they started up 15, 25 years ago, whatever it is, that's their baby. Signing over, is not the easiest thing in the world for them.
And the reason you got the equity is you proved your worth, right? You've shown this, you on board with in any. Let's take a step back here. In any business transaction, any type of situation, when you use exchange, it's like you exchange something for value to what you perceive as something of greater value, and the other person is the opposite. They think what you're handing them is a greater value than what they were giving up. So it's perceived that trading something for lesser value than greater value. And in this situation, that business owner, it was a roofing company or
Was a general contracting,
general contractor,
from remodeling.
yeah, kitchen. To him, having you on board with, landing those type of leads and growing the business was worth way more than 30% ownership of what he would be doing if he never had you on board. And once you can cross that path and show somebody like, look, yeah, 33% is a third of your company, and it sounds scary. You've been at this level you're at now,
Exactly. Look
right?
at where your business was
Yep.
2 months ago, and
Yep.
look at what we've done in just 2 months. Imagine what your 66% is going to be worth in a year.
Yep.
So
Medical. I mean, people emotional, so they have to build rapport with you. They have to think everybody's logical. Nobody in this world is logical. Everyone's emotional, and then they justify their emotions with logic. So to bond with these people, you built some type of trust. They wanted to give you a shot. A lot of that has, fire and ambition goes a long way. Tell a compelling story and enroll other people into a vision goes a long way. But then be able to back it up, like it never kicks in and will overrule that emotion. Like what story you tell, or eventually find out. Look at the guy. Like we just talked about this on the previous show. Look at the guy from WeWork, right? Raised billions of dollars, but eventually they figured out that it's just a story and it's never going to manifest, right? It's a fairy tale. If
mhm.
you can't back these things up with logic, eventually the exit door. You were able to do both, right? You tell a story and then be able to prove that it wasn't fantasy.
Yeah, I don't wrong. Imposter syndrome is what I felt when I was telling that
Huh.
story.
Oh
But
yeah.
media makes it so easy to find mentors,
Hmm.
and it having that having somebody in your corner that cares about you and that's willing to put in the time to help you. And trust me, there's plenty of people out there. There's a lot of fake gurus out there that are trying to sell you a course, but there is plenty of
Yeah.
people, especially in the M&A space, that will sit there and hold your hand and walk you through those
Yeah.
deals. And it's a lot. I knew no matter what I was saying and selling them on,
Yeah.
I was going to be able to back up if they gave me the chance.
And the group you learned from, they kinda went their own way and did their own thing now, right?
Unfortunately, in South Carolina, an owner in San Diego, and an owner in Singapore. So they're all big into M&A. They all just separated and in ways doing massive roll ups and some
Mhm.
really things. So yeah, unfortunately, had to move on from them, but still in touch with. And he's a good man. I actually flew out to Singapore at the end of
Oh,
the year last year and spent some time at his house and with his family. It was an incredible experience.
that was cool. That's to see somebody on all the time and spend hours and hours with them, but to be able to, break them and shake their hand and, "Taste you like wine, share wine with them." I'm in the you go out there, you hang out with him. Now, I know for the audience, what do you now? Because I think you parlayed all this into something really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny enough, Singapore was one stop on the entrepreneur guys helped me build everything completely remotely. Obviously, my work with them, it was always remote,
Mhm.
but the businesses that I was buying, it was a marketing and sales role. So I was able to work from my laptop. And Aaron had told me that when he was my age, he was a digital marketing agency and he tried the digital nomad thing where he would just pop around the world. And as long as they had Wi-Fi, he could work. So I was like, well, I want to follow in his footsteps. I want to do the same thing. So for 18 months, I started in Central America, South America, Europe, Australia. I did 1 month Airbnbs in different countries around the world while I was running the businesses and working with acquisitionpreneur. Actually ended up coming in from Asia in October of last year. That's when the around the world ended. I was stopped in Scottsdale, Arizona for a month. I had my kitchen and bathroom remodeling partner
Mhm.
hanging out in Scottsdale, playing some golf, working on the business, working on other acquisitions actually, and was just supposed to be there for a month, head back to Philadelphia where home base was, and then think about where I wanted to travel next and continue moving around. First day I was in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was at a Philadelphia Eagles bar. I met a girl, and I have been in Scottsdale ever since. So
The meta girl's part of this. There's
met a
always a
girl,
meta partner.
met a girl, and now I home base is Scottsdale, just
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that was how I ended up in Scottsdale. But as far as business, so everything, every acquisitionpreneur disbanding, mentorship and the remote sales space, was really for me. I love to see the success stories, but I'm a pretty self-aware person. Uh,
Mhm.
have had a success in the mergers and acquisition space, but I'm not somebody who can sit there. I'm not an individual who's had 10 years experience. 10 years ago, I was trying to figure out what high school I was going to. Maybe I was middle high school, whatever it
Right.
was. So I knew I didn't have to start a mentorship program, nor did I want to. Like you said, you see a lot of people invest a lot, but you have to be an action taker and you have to have the support, right? So it's tough. A lot of people invest in real estate masterminds, acquisition masterminds, but there's a very small percentage of people that take action on those after the on weekend or the online course, whatever it is. They get really motivated, but then they fall back into whether it's a 9 to 5 job or they're running their business. They back into and they don't go out and take action. So I got really good at sourcing off market deals, and I was doing it from calling businesses, texting businesses, emailing businesses, and just from learning so much marketing from Aaron, I learned how to do that at scale. And at Acquisitionpreneur, met one of my best friends in the world, also best friends with Aaron, it's Ben Peary. Peary is a guy out of Sydney. He was running a lot of the operations and deal sourcing side of Acquisitionpreneur. So Ben and I got together. I knew I was good at sourcing the off market deals. Ben also came from a marketing background. He's had a bigger exit when he was 28 years old. So he was pretty well equipped. He's acquired plenty of businesses, and he also was for some market deals. So for us, we thought about the entire industry of M&A mentorship And we figured, what if there was a next step? Because some people have their inner circles, some people have these live events. What if for the people that are educated, whether they're mom and pop investor, or the investor looking for a roll up, what if there was a next step to that, where instead of coaching them and teaching them how to do it, we work with people one on one. We build a team around helping them and holding their hand, walking them through the transaction. Because my thought process was, if everybody in this space that was interested in acquisitions got the hand holding that I did from like Aaron, anybody can be successful. You have somebody holding you accountable, and you have somebody when the bump in the road where you don't know what to do, they're going to point you in the right direction.
Hmm.
And that's what I wanted to do for investors. So we started a company called Just Deal Flow. Ironically, we were going to focus on flow for all of our clients, whether they were small investors, investors, or private equity companies. We wanted to provide deal flow.
Hmm.
But then we grew and made connections. We had the network that we have. We had people that are private money lenders, hard money lenders. We have through performance or consulting for equity contracts. I call them performance contracts sometimes
Hmm.
because they're dependent on your performance. But we had all of these people around the financing side of things. We had to a ton of analysts, because Ben also used to work in VC, so they were going through and analyzing deals to see if they were a good fit. He's also has some private equity background, so we had a ton of people that were good at analysts and good at reading the finance of businesses. So had everything we needed to really help with everything from sourcing off market deals, creatively financing deals, negotiating on those deals, and then doing what we call pre-LOI due diligence. So with off-market deals, it's a heck of a lot easier than on-market deals. You don't have to deal with a broker. There's no competition. You get to get on with these people, and you're talking directly to the seller. You're the first person that they're talking to about selling their business, and you can ask away with a lot of questions, asking them a ton about their business. Sometimes we'll sign an NDA. Other times we the information, then we sign the NDA. We have 168 data points on that we're pulling from these businesses. So everything from when their business started to, is there any litigation that's happened in the past, and the capacity that they're operating on, who's the owners of the business, is it in your wife's name because of my tax purposes, or are you using it as a shelter for own personal taxes? What are the ad backs? What sort of marketing are you doing? What do your social medias look like? What's your FF&E? What's your real estate? So we have all these questions, and we were able to do that as well. So we wanted to create a one-stop shop for people, from sourcing them an off-market deal that's right in their buy box in their location, which we do with 4 or 5 different avenues that we can talk about as well. And then we have our analysts walking them through the entire transaction with everything they need. And it's all in a platform called Moxo. It's dealflow.moxo.com, where all of the off-market leads are dropped in there. All of the analysis sheets are dropped in there. We can text, we can video call, we can voice call, and they have access to everybody from the analysts, myself, the financiers. We have attorneys in there. We think that they need. So our plan was really to develop a one-stop shop for people once they needed to execute on deals.
Okay. And then about what it look like? I mean, are you guys paid an equity of the businesses you help get acquired? Are you getting paid kind of broker's fees from the businesses you help sell? Coaching consulting program fee, or how you make money?
Yeah. So on the buyer side, we charge a monthly fee where
Mhm.
we can go out and we give you a money back guarantee. So prices change based on how tight your buy box is and what sort of volume you're looking for. So we guarantee you X amount of off market deals exclusive to you in X amount of months, depending on what you're looking for. So everything's custom. We guarantee you that or your money back. And then on the seller side, we do charge a couple percentage points on the fee for the transaction just to facilitate that. So there's two sides to the business.
All right. And then what's the line? Like, it says roll up in chocolate, right? They're doing chocolatiers, and I guess there's a difference between a chocolate producer and a chocolatier. Somebody designs the flavors, and other people just turn it into candy. So get mixed up on which one's which. But came to you with something fairly specific and said, okay, we want to talk to anybody that does these products in these markets, US, range, between this and that, and they gave you a criteria. What would be the timeline before you guys could actually get the phone ringing? I'm imagining you're pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's not as quick as you'd think, because our deliverable is we don't deliver a lead to a client until we have that full pre-LOI due diligence sheet filled out.
Oh, okay.
So the phone's ringing, we're going to get the phones ringing that day. We're going to blast
Yeah.
out we have a cold email campaign. We have data scrapers, in-house data scrapers. They use some AI to find out how old the business is and how long it's been around, if they're likely to sell. So from there, we blast out an email campaign, an SMS campaign, which is by far my favorite. You can tell them exactly what you want, and they're going to read it and respond if they're in that buy box. So
Yeah.
SMS campaigns are huge for us. And then also do ringless voicemail campaigns, which can be a pain in the butt because people see a missed call, they're calling back regardless. But that's what we have virtual assistants for. And then we also do some social media marketing stuff. But the phone's ringing, we're that instantly. But have through all of the questions, and we have to verify them with financial statements. So the seller signed an NDA with us, and then we're pulling their financial statements for the past 3 years, and then we deliver that to the client. So we always say, give us at least 10 days of our ramp up period before you see the first lead. 10 days is, in the name of things, to find an off market business that's you sign up for 4 deals and we're dropping them to you in that first day.
What works best? Do you think the text message works best?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Expensive with the volume that we run it at, but it's by far the best response rate. Not the best response rate, the best quality response rate. And we like to pull on the heartstrings a bit with the language that we use. And as far as the response rate, I would say, and the speed, SMS, we also run bulk mail outreach across the United States just to bring in deals across anybody's buy box, doesn't matter what they are. And that's a longer process, but we have probably 4 to 5 sellers across any industries that are coming in a day with appointments with our analysts. So that's another great one, but that's less targeted. And then as we filter through them and see whose buy box they fit for our clients, we then dish them out to the current clients that we have.
And today's sponsor is Reconciled. Are you an entrepreneur or business owner thinking about your exit strategy? Or maybe you've just landed a business through acquisition and the books just aren't the way you need them to be. Let me tell you about Reconciled, your dedicated partner for industry-leading virtual bookkeeping and accounting services. Reconciled pairs you with skilled professionals who empower you to grow your business and prepare it for success, whether that's your exit or taking that new acquisition to top performance. Imagine having high-level financial management without expanding your team. From bookkeeping to CFO services, tax advisory, and even fully outsourced accounting, Reconciled has got you covered. They help you make the best business decisions, keeping your end goal in mind. And the best part? Reconciled understands acquisitions, as they have acquired 3 accounting firms in the past 3 years, and their founder, Michael Lee, mentors others in searching for acquisition, raising capital, or trying to aggressively scale. Reconcile invoices your clients, pays your bills, and delivers clear and accurate financial reports every month automatically. Ready to streamline your financials and prepare your business for the next big step? Visit reconcile.com today and let them get your books in order. Reconciled, making bookkeeping a breeze. That's reconciled.com.
So yes, we target private equity groups and family offices, cold email, and a lot of social media marketing is where we pull the buyers from. But yeah, I mean, we work with private equity groups. I haven't ever had anybody come to me about veterinary services, which is interesting that you say that. But we have private equity group that we're working on a healthcare roll up for. We have a roll up is a big one that one of our number one clients is working on a roofing roll up across the United States. And then we have a SaaS one. And the SaaS is tougher. They're highly sought after as well. So we make that very clear. If you have a buy box that's going to be tough to pull in, we're going to set realistic expectations.
I would say I've interviewed 2 people this week that have raised considerable funds. One of them has already acquired over a dozen SaaS companies. The other one has raised considerable funds. They're expecting to close their first transaction in the next 30 days, and they want to. They're raising enough money, and they've got experience in this space. They're looking at acquiring 1 SaaS per month. Going into the future, they've got a hell of a team to do so. Now, I've interviewed at least, I want to say 2 or 3 like investment banker types and 2 business brokers who have been tasked by private equity to hunt down veterinarian services and pet and ancillary services around them. It's because anytime there's uncertainty in the market, people shift their things into things like we're going to take care of our pets whether the market's good or bad. You're going to take care of your health care if you want to live. You're going to do your health care whether the market's good or bad.
Absolutely.
Right?
Everybody wants the recession proof business.
Yep.
There's a lot of them in the,
Right.
everybody wants the government contracts as well, the necessity blue collar businesses. People want the recession proof businesses. And the good news is whether it's home services, healthcare, or
Hmm.
veterinary services, there are a ton of them. So many businesses that are necessities that are out there and they're easy to get their hands on. That's why for me, my first business was kitchen and bathroom remodeling. Everybody was talking about what's going to happen with the market. At that time, I was like, damn, this is doing really well. We're doing social media ads. People see a beautiful kitchen and they want to spend, 120 grand to blow out their kitchen and redo it. The market's great right now, though. So when that market turns, people aren't going to be looking at beautiful kitchens saying, what can I do next? So that's when we went to Michael Byers, actually one of the acquisition owners. He's the one that really pushed me in that direction. Go electrical, go HVAC, go roof. When
Yep.
things go south that you need, that's the
Fixing
type.
your roof, whether you're broke or not broke, the insurance company's going to cover that fix because a lot of people don't understand that a small leak in a roof will destroy the entire structure over a couple years,
Absolutely.
right? The water will do damage, it runs down, rots wood. I own a pet. One of the many things I own, I own a pest control. All weird things in Oklahoma. Um, Bites bugs. If you want to figure out, if you see a house, first thing you want to do is figure out where the water source is because you have moisture. Because they actually go back down in the ground and look for moisture. So there's usually a slight plumbing leak or there's moisture coming in from somewhere, right? And a lot of bugs really answer the same thing. You're not gonna, that's a lot of people. I always find like we lived in Oklahoma. Why do I find scorpions in my bathroom, in the sink, and in the shower? Because they're looking for water in your house. They came in to get out of the blistering heat. It gets 110 there with humidity. Not as hot and humid.
Sorry.
The heat, and then all of a sudden now they got to hunt for water,
Yep.
right? So understand roofing's kind of recession resistant because they deteriorate over time, so they're not there's no such thing as a permanent roof. Metal roofs will last longer than most, but I don't think there's anything such thing as a lifetime, never gonna be replaced roof. Um, you know, like even those Spanish tiles that are 2.5 inches thick, they eventually break and deteriorate in the sun. The sun destroys everything, and they need to be replaced. So, leave it undone. So, not if you want to keep the house,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. No, they're highly sought. We're looking at,
Mhm.
the perks of having the deal sourcing business is we do
Mhm.
mass outreach. So if we have a business that comes in that's hot, that's in nobody's buy box, it doesn't suit any of
Yep.
our clients. If it fits our buy box, we're going to pull the trigger on it. So we're looking at a
Yep.
roofing business right now down in Miami that we love the looks of.
Yep.
6 months, which gives us a lot of time right now. We're working on acquiring our business that should close this week. But we're pumped about the business. They're a hot. It's a hot too, and it's easy to run marketing for them and scale the businesses up. So we're excited.
Yeah, it's basically roofing's, really good guys and, affordable. Let's say cheap labor because you can get really, really bad roofs with cheap labor. But, trade craftsmen that are decently priced and really great door sales guy. 'Cause, and you gotta be able to chase a few storms, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I met a marketing we were doing a marketing roll up. I met a marketing agency, a lady who ran a marketing agency. She ended up not wanting to sell because she built a lifestyle business and was funding a charity that she'd always wanted to fund from her business, but her whole job was she only took on roofing, right? Story why he's over there gagging on his I can mute my mic when I'm done. He just had to mute his. Take a drink, calm down, you'll be
Yeah,
alright. But,
wrong.
she was as a marketer, she was up in the multi-million dollars worth of revenue only focusing on, roofing. One of the things she did is she could take a roofing company, she had examples of it. We're taking a roofing company that was doing like, they had the team, had the trucks, they had the equipment. Maybe they're doing revenue-wise, 4 or $500,000 a year, they're doing okay in the local market, and she could take, like, "Are you willing to go with 3 states of you?" Like, cool. And she would do storm mapping. She would actually track health storms and different stuff and market to people in those areas and turn these companies into from hundreds of thousands of dollars to being 6, 7, 8, $9 million companies in less than 18 months flat if there was a good storm that came through. And is incredible to do these. People are beating down her door. So,
Yeah, no, I was something that I saw for the first time when we got the roofing and siding business. It
hmm
was just around a time that uh, social media marketing, the in-person
yep,
marketing it was a whole nother level seeing those storms come through.
right,
So for the first time in my life, I saw two tornadoes in person in the Philadelphia suburbs. I think it was like, and they came through and just wiped out some of the towns around here. Dealerships, people were killed in towns a couple towns
Mhm.
over. And the next day, there I came out. I was staying at my. I outside. There was trucks everywhere of people ready roofers ready for you to fill out the insurance claims.
Oh, yeah.
And it,
Canvassing, they go door to door. Like, they call it canvassing. They go door to door and say, "Hey, I'll get up there right now and tell you not whether or not your roof needs a repaired." And they do a detailed report. A lot of these guys, this, you're in the roofing business. A lot of these guys are so good with the insurance companies. They'll get up there, they'll meet the adjuster there and say, "No, look here, this got to be
exactly what they were
done."
doing. And within,
Yeah.
I saw them there one day.
Mhm.
Within a couple days, there was probably 40, 50 houses in this neighborhood that had the company sign outside they were about to start doing work. It was unbelievable. I'm like, well, I don't know why I think of that. And I'm good at social media marketing, but I would never have thought storms that way. So
No, they need meteorologist software and tracks where storms are about to pop, like a storm chaser. She's running like the storm chasers, like, okay, this storm has the potential of producing hell. She starts loading up her ads for that, like doing her when they've seen ads, if you're in the marketing MBA, she sets her geofencing up and gets everything ready because if it, sometimes it hells and sometimes it don't. But the second hell starts hitting, it's over a quarter size. Like, okay, we're going to send a canvassing there. They don't even send the trucks necessarily until the canvassing team goes out there and wins so many bids, but they had it down to a system. You are a company, and if she accepted you on as a client, she just wrote your magic ticket,
yep.
right? And there's guys out do that with roofing, and that's not no other one I can think of. Right? I grew up son, right? You can't do that in the business. I grew up, my on my dad's side, all my uncles and cousins were in heat and air, right, in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
Storms never to heat and air system, right? They do good business because it's hot and humid there. You don't wanna be in Oklahoma with that one either, right? But I remember to this day, I remember the first time my wife ever came out to visit me in Oklahoma, it was in August. She comes out of the girlfriend at the time, she comes out of the airport and the big sliding doors open up, right? And she
Mhm.
stepped into, you can feel it. It's like stepping into a humidifier. And you could just feel walking into this like oven with humidity. And she almost started crying. She almost had tears in her eyes. She's like, "You really live here?"
I
It's
got
so
the same thing. You
I'm
know what's
sweating
so
already, and I haven't been outside in 30 seconds.
Yep, Sophie said that because, I mean, obviously, I'm in Philadelphia now.
Yep.
I live in Scottsdale. 6 o'clock this morning, I
Mm,
have to. My girlfriend and I, we talk about where we want to live because she's from
yep,
this area. All of our families are out here.
yep,
We love. I picked her up. We've been in 110-degree weather. Granted, it's
yep.
lots of humidity. I picked her up at 6 o'clock this morning at the airport, and that was the first damn thing she said to me when she got out of the car, or when she got into the car. She was like, I I walked out of the airplane door into the tunnel, whatever the
Yeah.
heck it's called, and she was like, I wasn't even outside yet, and I was already getting hit with a wave of humidity. She was like, I can't
It's
come
a
back.
huge difference. It's a huge I've been to Arizona, I've been down there quite a bit. I've been to, Texas, mid-Texas. Southern, you get the humidity from the ocean. Mid-Texas is pretty dry.
Mhm.
You get and all the lakes cause the humidity to go up. But, when we talk Oklahoma weather or, Philadelphia way, you're talking 90 degrees with 75, 80% humidity. Like
That's exactly
the
what it is.
condensation's on your windows. Like you're like, it's like into a sauna, like a steam room. And people don't get that. Like my wife, it took her a while for her to get used to it there. We lived there for 14, almost 15 years before we moved back here. We only moved back to California in June of last year. So the fun thing is now I walk outside and my buddy's like, it's 105 miserable here. I like, well, I just put my hoodie because it's 8 o'clock. It was 85 yesterday, but by 8 o'clock at night, I was still out in the shop. I had to put a hoodie on because it was getting cold. It's kinda desert here. It's like I remember going through the desert, and at night, in the mornings, it's really cold, and if it gets hot, it's only hot for the peak hours of the day. Like, in the desert, once the sun goes down, man, that nothing holds it retains the heat, so you can go from, 110, to, 55 on certain times of the year regularly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yep.
my favorite time of the year. In the middle of the summer, I was hoping for this was my first summer in Arizona. It was
Yeah.
118 degrees, the sun would go down, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it gets back down to 80." Nope, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I would look at my phone, it's still 105 degrees outside somehow.
Yeah.
But, luckily, that's over now. I looked at the forecast, two-week forecast today, and looks
Mhm.
like we're finally getting back into the 2 digits, so I'm stoked about that.
Okay. So let's go back to deal sourcing and stuff. For the guys who they're kind of going that they can't afford what you guys do yet. Let's give people some indication of what it looks like. Where would somebody start if they wanted to source off market deals? I've spoke on the topic. You actually do this as a profession. I think between the two of us, we can get some of these guys that are maybe they're pre-qualified for SBA loans. They're just I meet people all the time that have been search funders for 2 or 3 years and they haven't sourced a deal yet. They haven't got an LOI signed yet. Just way for them to like start really evaluating deals.
Fastest way, I would say start calling people.
Yeah.
Just calling. The most efficient way, that's not the fastest way, is social media, without a
Mhm,
doubt. And I it's really do this,
mhm,
but you should do is find the location, the industry that you're looking to buy a business in. Say it's Philadelphia roofing businesses. Record a video. Hey, my name's David Bateman. I'm an investor in the roofing industry and I'm looking to buy a business. If you're a business owner that owns and you're looking to sell in the next 3, 6 to 12 months, give me a call so we can talk numbers. That's it. Record a video of yourself saying
yeah,
that. Go on to Facebook, target roofing business owners and drop the circle right where you want it and run it for $5 a day. And if it might not happen immediately, and that's what we still run these with Just Deal Flow,
yeah,
but again, we need results for our clients. So we run them in random locations with random industries just to have the pipeline full. But for individuals that are okay with waiting, a weeks for these messages to come in, make it a messenger ad and have people reach out to you. You're targeting business owners in that area, so you're going to get plenty. And if you're open to multiple industries, it's even easier. Type in all of the industries as keywords in that ad search. And then the other thing is everybody's got a network of friends and family. You might not have a ton of business owners in your personal network. You might not have a ton of high net worth individuals in your network, but other people around you do.
yeah,
So make posts about what you're looking for. Hey, I'm an investor. This is the industry, location, and size of business that I'm looking for, and bring some value to the table. This is why I'm looking for it. This is what I do with my business.
yeah.
Definitely toot your own horn a little bit. Don't be cocky, but be confident. Make that post and reach out to the closest people in your sphere of influence and ask them to share it. Just politely, I say, hey, I'm really looking to acquire a business. I could use your help. Ask them to share it and you'll be surprised how many people reach out and say, oh, I know this guy that owned a roofing business and he's looking to retire. And you'll get messages that way. And then the last way that I think is the most obvious way is go onto Facebook and search mergers and acquisitions and join every business for sale group you can possibly find and
Mhm.
just keep an eye on them and post every once in a while. Don't be afraid to be annoying. If being annoying on a couple Facebook groups is going to give you the livelihood and the cash flow that you need, be annoying. So post in there as much as you can about the deals that you're looking for. Don't get blocked for spam, but post in there and make it known what you're looking for. And we the other day use LinkedIn, look up the type of industries that you're looking for, and start firing off some messages. It's going to be easier that way. That's the most affordable, best way to source deals. And if you're good on the phone, learn to cold call. It's the most annoying thing in the world, but you'll be surprised how many people pick up the phone and are looking to sell.
I seen somebody do this the other day, and that video idea you had there, and what they think they did, I'm not positive, is they think they made, like, 6 tracks of it, right? And they picked the top 6 names, Mark, John, you know, Henry. They probably recorded 15, but basically, they're like for roofing, they're like, "Hey, Henry, I just wanna send you a personal note here," and there's a video of them. They're sending a link to a video embedded inside of LinkedIn. It's like, "Hey, Henry, I'm an investor in the roofing space. I'm looking to buy X, Y, and Z. Just wanted to send you a message here. And roofing's bad because there are not a lot of roofers that are on LinkedIn, but they actually personalize it. If you think about it, like what are the top, like I'm looking for, you could do this with a Google search. I'm looking for business owners who've been in business for 10 or more years, blah, blah, blah. You can almost figure out what the age demographic of that is. They're probably between the ages of 55 and 75, right? And then Google, instead of the most common names for people currently between the ages of 55 and 75, now you got a personal, you record, you pick the top 10, right? Now you've got, you know, let's say, hey, David, very right. I bet I could send 1,000 right now. I could find 1,000 marketing agencies that CEOs named David. right, on LinkedIn, right? And I go, "Hey, David, I'm looking to buy marketing agencies. What I'm specifically looking for is, company been around for 5 years or more, have an EBITDA of this number. That fits you and you might consider selling, man. Here's a link. I'm gonna send you a link real quick to do a Calendarly call. Let's start off with 20 minutes. And you got 20 minutes chat about this. We can go for just whatever works for you, right? I can report somebody in 15 to 20 minutes and figure out if they're serious or not, and then schedule a second call. Now on their calendar, it puts 20 minutes. On my calendar, I book it for an hour because I know I tend to like keep them on the phone longer, and and if they don't book anything back to back, we'll continue talking, right?
1,000 messages, you're gonna get responses.
Oh, it does, but I guarantee you right now, if I went to my sales navigator, that's a tool you can use on LinkedIn, I could find 1,000 CEOs of small to mid marketing agencies with the owner's name David. I can think of 6 off the top of my head, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And the sad part is people would rather go over and over again. They'd rather go to Biz by Sell and get told they don't qualify by brokers than just firing off that many messages on social media.
yeah,
But it's worth. You're gonna get on the phone with these sellers. It's definitely. And another great one is that we use in our business sometimes is Google My Business data. You can pull all sorts of phone numbers, email addresses, address, industries on Google My Business data because they have everybody registers
oh,
with
yeah.
Google Business. So that we use as well.
Let's throw some nuggets out there for people that are like trying to look. If you're looking for, here's a good example: pest control companies, probably roofing companies. Roofing is a little more sophisticated now because it's very competitive space. Those type of things. They're probably not on LinkedIn. May or may not even have a website. But if you're looking for someone who's ready to retire out of that, I still like the yellow pages. I call it my lead generation book. I'll grab a yellow pages, open the door, open it to like pest control, and it tells you right on, been in business for 25 years. I'm like, okay, let's call
Absolutely.
them. You know,
And so many of these guys are such
yep.
hard workers. They're 65, 60, 70 years old. They're such
Hmm.
hard workers. All they know is work, and they're still in the field with their company, not
Hmm.
working from home. They just don't feel
Hmm.
like contacting a broker and going through the process with a broker to actually list their business for sale. But if you don't think they're sitting there fixing somebody's roof thinking about retirement, then you're crazy because they are sitting there thinking about, geez, I'm getting too old for this. Well, when is the right time for me to sell? And if you're picking up the phone and
Yep.
you can convince them to have a conversation with you and why you're the right person to buy it, it's going to go well for you.
Yeah, it'll work. It's one. The yellow pages one. A lot of people don't know you can buy a list, or you can actually get them for free. If you here in the U.S., if you are a member of any county library system, what used to be Reference USA, and a lot of these old library systems still call it Reference USA. It's Data Axle now. You can go in there and pull a list of 200 at a time. Business owners by zip code, so you can actually go, okay, I'm looking for roofing companies in these 5 zip codes. Give me a list of everyone in Data Axle. I'll have all that data, and you can download it in a spreadsheet and start cold calling them. So you have to pay for the things you'll still have to pay for is if you want their email address or something. But if you put a little legwork in or have a VA do it, if you had your list of names and phone numbers, you can pay somebody to go look at the Google My Data and go look at websites and find the email addresses. You can
Yeah,
scrape those
yeah,
too.
and even if you don't want a VA, how long does it take to write an email and copy and paste it to 200 email addresses? Like, put in a half
Right.
hour of work, and you're gonna have again the responses are gonna come in. But yeah, I mean, it's all about taking action, and some people they need to be held accountable. But I don't think a lot of people realize how easy it is to just put it in your calendar, put put time aside, whether it's an hour a week or an hour a day. Put time aside. I'm going to
Yeah.
send this many emails, this many Facebook messages, make this many calls, this many texts, and put some time in your calendar
Yeah.
and force yourself to do it because the acquisition is it's at your fingertips if you're able to do that. That's the most important thing in the game.
A lot of people also will go, "Well, I don't know what to say." Like, you're not gonna know what to say the first time. I used to do it. Here's one for you. If you ever train in anybody, my favorite thing to do, I call it my European training model. So the European training model is I pull a list of people cold call, and then I'll call the first 2 or 3 and let people like, they're all sitting around a boardroom, right? And I usually do it from a cell phone because it's pretty easy to move that around, and I'll do the calls like, "Hey, I'm Ronald Skelton. I'm looking to do this and stuff." We have a call, probably 5 or 6 minutes. It's a no. Cool. I call the next guy, all right? And then I do about 2 or 3. I get kind of people comfortable. I see the room like, okay, I'm getting this now. And then I dial the next number and I slide it up and I go, "You're up."
Yeah,
I just slide the phone to the next guy. The phone's ringing, right? And I just like they hear it ringing on speaker. And my European model is "You're
yep,
up,"
I
right? I just
love
hand the phone to him like, "You're up, you're up." And I don't know what to say. I don't care. Order a pizza.
it.
You know,
You
they'll never know who they won't remember you. Just say something, talk to them, build rapport. Like, you heard what I said, try
Exactly.
that. We used to do this in real estate all the time. We do the European training model, and, the people that were in the
Absolutely, and the first time you pick up that phone, I mean, if you can pick up the phone when you're thrown on the spot like that and do well, you should be a number one salesperson in some sort of industry. But like, if you're like me, if somebody throws you the phone like that, you're going to panic. They're going to ask you questions. You're not even going to know what to say. You're going to sound like an absolute idiot. But the only way to learn how to answer those questions and objections, if you want, is just
Mhm.
to get on the phone and start doing it. And the more you do it, the more confident you're going to get, and you're going to be able to acquire them. And for me, it was talk about imposter syndrome. I felt like I had imposter syndrome, but make the relationships and make the mentors to help you out with that as well, because they can review your calls and sit there and tell you in the right direction.
We call this a show. Let's make sure people know how do they contact you, David? If somebody wants to work with you, if they like, hey, we're doing a roll up. We want to acquire 10 companies in the next 2 years. That would be a great lead. Like, how do people reach out to you
I'm
and
an
vet you?
open book. I will, if you want to email me and set up a video call, we can absolutely do that. My email address is dave@justdealflow.com. Very simple one. And then again, like I said, I'm an open book. If you want to text me or give me a call, probably will not answer any calls. I have 500 spam calls a day. But if you shoot me a text, I will absolutely answer you and give you a call back. My number is 215-847-5270. That's my personal cell. So give me a shout and we can
There
talk.
you go. Well, reach out to David if you're trying to get some deal going. We had this conversation before, and I promise you, I've had at least a dozen people try to get on my show to say they can source deals, but nobody's had the merit like you did. So after talking to you the first time, like, I really think these guys can get it done. So thank you for being
Thank you
here
for having
today.
me.
Thank you for sharing the content you shared, and we'll call that a
Absolutely.
show.
Thank you so much for having me, Ronald. I appreciate it. And no, it's been fun.
Awesome. All right. That's the show, guys. I want to announce our new channel partners, the ITX Marketplace. Since 1998, ITX has created $5 billion in value by selling more than 225 IT businesses in 20 countries. ITX works exclusively with IT-enabled businesses generating between 5 million and 30 million who are ready to be sold, and M&A decision makers who are ready to buy. For over 25 years, ITX has developed industry knowledge that helps determine whether a seller is a good fit for their buyers before making the match. ITX Mergers and Acquisition Marketplace we have partnered with has a proprietary database of 50,000 plus global buyers seeking IT service firms, managed service providers, Microsoft service providers, software as a service platforms, and channel partners with Microsoft, Oracle, ServiceNow, and the Salesforce space. If you have an IT enabled business you're ready to sell, I want you to visit the itexchangenet.com/marketplace. How to exit. That link will be in the show notes. Visit them now.